How's it going? Dave here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how to write a really catchy melody. I'm not going to necessarily be talking about how to write a really beautiful or nice sounding melody. It's literally a melody that gets caught in someone's mind and it's stuck there for the rest of the day. This video is inspired by when I went to go and see a band called Death Heaven. They are kind of like a, hard to explain, like post-rock, black metal-y kind of band, and they have no melodic vocals, it's just all screaming, and the guitarist, whenever he did a solo, everyone would sing along with the solo, and I thought that was really cool because he was able to create some really catchy melodies. So the first step is to create a motif. Now, a motif is just a simple melodic idea, and I'd suggest keeping it as simple as possible. And when I say simple, I really mean simple. We want maybe 2, 3, 4 notes. What you want to do is imagine a crowd singing that melody. Is it going to be easy for that crowd to sing along to? So I've created a simple motif, and it's this. So remember when I said simple, that was how simple it needs to be. 2 notes. Now I've written a chord progression and I've put the motif over that chord progression so you can hear how it sounds. So it sounds kind of basic and a little bit too simple maybe, but let's stick with it for now and keep going. So something to mention is the intervals that you're using. I find that generally, not always, but generally, smaller interval steps are better for creating catchy melodies, and bigger interval jumps are not so much as good at creating catchy melodies. Just because smaller intervals are easier to sing, larger intervals are a bit more difficult to sing. Try singing a semitone, so da da. I'm no singer, but da da, and then try singing an octave, da da. I can't do it. So yeah, smaller intervals. And if you take a look at a melody like "Isn't She Lovely" by Stevie Wonder, it's just semitone, semitone, tone, tone. Really, really simple. Or if you take a look at an iconic riff such as Seven Nation Army, the biggest jump in that entire riff is a minor third. And I'd suggest maybe keeping a minor third as the limit to the size of your interval jumps. So minor third, then the rest of it is just steps and half steps. Really small intervals. So the next step when it comes to writing a catchy melody is to structure your melody. That motif we have is not going to be the entire melody. It's just a basis for creating the rest of our melody. Now, you could structure it in a few different ways. You could do kind of like an A, B kind of structure. So you play your motif, that's your A section. Then the B section could be like a modified version of your motif, something like that. But what I'm going to do today in this video is do a call and response. So my motif is the call, and then I have a response, and that's just another very simple motif that you can create. Then another call, then another response with a very simple melody just running down the E minor scale, and then a call and response, and then one more call and response, call, response. So let's have a listen to how that sounds. We're starting to get somewhere with this melody. I'm sure it's starting to get stuck in your head, but there's a few extra little details we can add that are just going to make that melody even catchier. So the articulation is really important. The articulation is not just the notes that we're playing, but how we're playing those notes. So an exercise you can do to improve your articulation is to take the 7th fret, or any fret, but let's do the 7th fret of the D string, and see how many different ways you can play that particular note. There's lots of different ways. You can mute it, you could do a harmonic, you could play it loud, play it quiet, use vibrato. I'm kind of taking all of the methods away from you, but see if you can think of 10 different ways you can play that one particular note. and that's going to really help you develop your articulation. But what I've done here is wherever I've got the chance, I've added just little details into the melody to just make it sound a bit more like it's singing, the guitar's singing. And the thing is, with the guitar, is it's not like a piano. We can do like so many different things. We can bend, we can slide, and it adds to the expression that we can put into our melodies. It's super important that you work on your articulation. I've done a video that you can check out there, quite an old video, but I might do a new one on articulation. Let me know if you want to see a video on articulation in the comments, because I think that might be a nice one to do again. I've done lots of legato here, and I've done some notes that ring out. So that semitone, I've let ring out, so it creates a bit more tension, and back to some legato, and then I did the next response as a staccato kind of thing. So I've just varied the expression of all the notes in my melody, and you'd be surprised at how much that affects how catchy your melody actually is. So let's have a listen to how changing the articulation improves the melody. Now the final step is to add things around the melody, so things that don't involve your guitar or the instrument doing the melody. In the next example that you're going to hear, I've highlighted the motif, the original motif, by a little piano lick, so the piano does that. What I've also done is the little bit with the staccato, I've adjusted the rhythm of the chords and all the other instruments to kind of match the rhythm of that particular response there. I've also changed the chords a little bit. So the chord progression is E minor, D, C, D. Instead of playing that final D, I play B7, and then I play a D sharp diminished chord, which adds some more tension and really changes the context of the melody. Your chords can really influence how your melody sounds. Like if I played a different set of chords with the same melody, it would give the melody a completely different context. So that is something you need to really experiment with. And if you are looking to make some really nice sounding chord progressions, in the description I've got the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, for free. And in that you'll learn which order to use your chords, and also how to add like 7ths, 9ths, 11ths and 13ths to your chords to make them sound really pretty. So if that's something you're interested in, check out in the description. The full book contains some really awesome tips and tricks for adding like insane chords to your chord progressions that are just going to make people's jaws drop, really. I'd highly recommend just checking out the first 2 chapters. So let's have a listen to the example with everything apart from the melody being changed. That is how you write a really catchy melody that gets stuck in people's heads. I'm sure with a lot of time, you could create something even more catchy than I've written there, because I didn't spend very long on writing that melody, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. If you enjoyed the video, please click like, let me know what you thought in the comments, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. I will see you in the next video. See you later.